Welcome to the Deep Dives, where we cut through the noise and get straight to the knowledge.
Uh,
Today, we're doing something, well, a little different. We're pulling back the curtain on the daily pulse of our local communities.
right. Using those recent police incident reports.
Exactly. This is Behind the Blotter with the Peshtigo Times. And our mission today is to sift through the official records, Menominee and Marinette counties,
Yeah.
trying to extract those key insights.
Yeah.
Help you get informed about what's really happening on the ground.
That's the plan. You've given us the raw data, the daily dispatches. It's an unfiltered look at life and, well, sometimes strife right here in our neighborhoods. We're not just going to read reports. We're digging in, looking for patterns, maybe some unexpected connections. What does it all tell us about the heartbeat of Northeast Wisconsin?
Yeah, we're talking everything from, traffic mishaps,
Yeah.
maybe strange discoveries,
Mm-hmm.
to the more serious stuff that really highlights the constant vigilance of our local law
It's
enforcement.
quite a range.
Think of this as your essential guide, your shortcut, maybe, to understanding the West's quieter dramas, those unexpected moments, and just the steady work happening, often unseen, all around us.
Okay,
Okay, let's dive into these incident reports.
let's do it.
All right, we're kicking things off with the Menominee County Sheriff's Office reports. This covers May 22nd through May 28th, 2025.
Okay.
So this gives us that wider view incidents across the county, often more rural areas.
And what you often see, like you said, in these county reports compared to the city ones, it's a bit of a different flavor, isn't it?
How so?
Well, sometimes the incidents seem more isolated. You might get different challenges, maybe wildlife, like we see sometimes. And investigations, well, they can take longer, just the distances involved.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, let's get right into Thursday, May 22nd. First up, a deputy was dispatched to a vehicle in the ditch. This was on 5th Street in the village of Hermansville.
Okay.
A 26-year-old Hermansville woman, she was located at her home, arrested for failure to report an accident, got a citation, then released.
Right. And that failure to report, it might sound minor to some folks, but it's actually important.
Yeah.
Yeah, legally, for insurance. You got to report it, even if it seems small. It's about, responsibility, following the rules of the road. Ensures proper documentation, too.
Good point. Okay, also on May 22nd, over in the city of Stevenson, a deputy apprehended a juvenile for a tobacco violation. Simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
Then, moving to Gorley Township, another vehicle in the ditch, this time on County Road 551.
Ah.
The driver, Alicia Hurley, 19, from Kearney, she was cited for improper passing, lost control trying to pass a truck.
Ah.
Luckily, no injuries reported there.
Good. Passing can be tricky.
And still on Thursday, Lake Township now, on County Park Road,
What?
a truck versus camper crash.
Oh, boy.
A vehicle driven by Scott Narrett, 68, of Menominee, hit the back of a camper trying to maneuver around it. Again, thankfully, no injury.
Lots of vehicle incidents that day, but thankfully no injuries mentioned.
Yeah, seems that way. All right, moving to Friday, May 23rd. Now, this one highlights how things can change quickly for officers. Right. A deputy was sent to a residence in the city of Stevenson. The call. A kidnapping complaint.
Whoa, okay. That's serious.
Very serious. But after investigation on scene, a 28-year-old Stevenson woman was actually arrested for operating while intoxicated, OWI.
Ah, so the initial call was different from the final outcome.
Completely different. She was taken to the hospital for clearance, then lodged in jail.
That's a classic example, really. Law enforcement responds to the call they get, but once they're there investigating, talking to people, observing, the situation can turn out to be something else entirely. They
Right.
have to be ready to adapt just like that.
Definitely. Okay, Saturday, May 24th. Couple things here. Lake Township, County Road 577. A deputy dispatched to a one-vehicle crash.
Another one.
Yeah. Vehicle driven by Ann Bastian, 58. She's from Elkton, Florida. Overturned, ran off the road, overcorrected while trying to fix her GPS.
Ah, the GPS distraction
It-
happens.
No injuries reported, thankfully.
Also,
Saturday, Spalding Township, US 2 and 41. A larceny report from a business. Something stolen from the store. Investigations ongoing.
okay, standard stuff there.
Seems so. Now, Sunday, May 25th. This sounds like it was a really busy day.
Uh-oh.
Started on County Road 553 in Harris Township. A complaint about unlawful driving of a vehicle.
Okay.
They located the suspect and vehicle, initiated a traffic stop, but the suspect fled.
A pursuit.
A pursuit. Then the suspect drove into a field, and two subjects took off on foot.
Wow.
They searched, couldn't find him, but a female subject who stayed in the vehicle She was identified and turned over to Hannahville officers for follow-up.
That is dramatic. A pursuit off-road foot chase.
Huh.
It paints a picture, doesn't it?
It really does.
Especially in rural areas. It shows you the unpredictable stuff officers face. High stakes, quick decisions needed. Public safety's got to be paramount.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Still on Sunday, May 25th, River Drive, Mellon Township, deputies sent for a dog bite complaint. Caller reported being bitten on the finger by a dog. Happened while they were checking on someone on the side of the road.
Huh. Unexpected.
And wrapping up Sunday, Nadeau Township, malicious destruction of property complaint happened the night before. But later, the complainant called back. Said the suspect agreed to pay for damages, wanted charges dropped.
Sometimes things get resolved that way, civilly.
Seems like it. Okay, moving into the week. Monday, May 26th, Menominee Township, River Drive. Report of an abandoned boat.
Just abandoned.
Looked like it. Appeared genuinely abandoned. It got towed.
Okay.
City Stevenson, US 41. Deputy responds to an assault at a residence. Caller says she was assaulted by a client. Investigation done, turned over to the prosecutor's office.
All right, serious matter there.
And Nadeau Township again, 31.5 Road. A call about a suspicious subject leads to an arrest. A 34-year-old man from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, arrested for possession of a controlled substance, specifically cocaine, lodged in the Menominee County Jail.
Yeah, that cocaine arrest. Even if it's just one report here, it points to that ongoing challenge, right? Drug activity. Doesn't matter the size of the community. It's something law enforcement is always dealing with.
Seems to be a constant. Okay, Tuesday, May 27th. A 6-year-old Menominee woman arrested on a valid warrant. Right in the city of Menominee.
A warrant for?
Failure to appear for a probation hearing violation out of 95A District Court. So basically, she missed a court date related to her probation.
Right, and that usually leads straight to a warrant. FTA warrants are common.
Then Lake Township, Johnson Road. Another vehicle in the ditch.
Again?
Yep. Driver Ethan Luch-Gishier, 19, from Stevenson, showed up on scene, said he swerved to miss a deer. Lost control, hit several trees.
Yeah, the deer defense.
Classic Wisconsin moment, right? No injuries, but he got cited for careless driving.
Happens all the time up here. Glad no one was hurt.
And still, on Tuesday, Spalding Township, US 2 and 41. Traffic stopped for speeding. But it escalated. The driver, a woman from Penn Valley, Pennsylvania, arrested for OWI, operating while intoxicated, and having open intoxicants in the vehicle.
So speeding stop led to more serious charges.
Yep. Transported to Menominee County Jail, lodged.
Okay.
And wrapping up these Menominee County reports, Wednesday, May 28th, a deputy advised to contact someone about a trespass complaint. M69 in Harris Township.
Simple warning?
Yeah. Male subject warned about criminal trespass on the caller's property. Incident closed.
So looking back at that whole Menominee County set, what kind of jumps out, I think, is how many single vehicle incidents there were.
Yeah, quite a few ditch incidents that overturned one.
Exactly. It really highlights the unique driving challenges in more rural spots, doesn't it?
Right.
Less traveled roads, maybe, wildlife like that deer. Even just like distractions having a bigger impact, maybe. It feels different than the kind of multi-car pileups you might expect more often in like heavy city traffic.
That's a really good point. A different kind of vigilance needed out there. Okay, now let's metaphorically cross the bridge. Let's dive into the City of Menominee Police Department reports. This covers June 6th through June 12th, 2025.
Okay, city focus now.
Right. And here we usually see a different rhythm. More urban incidents, traffic, the concentrated activity of a city.
Indeed, yeah. These city reports, they give you more of a microcosm of daily life, right, in Menominee. Common infractions, the constant patrol work in a, smaller area.
Okay, starting Friday, June 6th, 10th Avenue and 11th Street. A 50-year-old male arrested. Reason, not having an operator's license.
Simple enough.
And a 55-year-old male arrested on a felony warrant. This is through the Menominee PD. He was actually transferred from Marinette County Jail over to Menominee County Jail.
So bringing him back to face charges originating in Menominee, a felony warrant implies something serious.
Right. Moving to Saturday, June 7th, officers investigated a 3-vehicle accident, 10th Avenue and 13th Street. One vehicle had disabling damage, one functional damage, one no damage. Yeah. Minor injuries reported by a passenger in that disabled vehicle, but they refused treatment.
All right. Sunday, June 8th. This day saw several arrests that really make you take notice.
Yeah. Like what?
First, locations listed as 800 block of 11th Street and 4200 block of 9th Street. An 18-year-old female arrested. Charges: OWI, minor in possession of alcohol.
Okay.
But wait, it says second or more offense for the MIP. and violating her bond condition.
Also Sunday, officers recovered some property left outside a residence, 2000 block of 16th Avenue. Got it back to the owner.
Good outcome there.
And 11th Avenue and 13th Street. A 40-year-old male arrested. OWI, no operator's license, and resisting and obstructing police officers.
Resisting adds another layer of seriousness and risk to the stop.
Definitely. Monday, June 9th. A 16-year-old male cited for speeding. 1st Street and 13th Avenue.
Okay.
Now this next one. Quite the list.
Yep.
14th Avenue and 10th Street. A 63-year-old male arrested for, possession of cocaine, possession of a weapon, speeding, expired registration plate, and no vehicle insurance.
Yeah, when you see a list like that, especially drugs and a weapon, it almost always starts as a traffic stop, right? Speeding, expired plate.
Right.
And then officer observations during the stop uncover much, much more. Training kicks in, they see indicators.
Clearly. Okay, Tuesday, June 10th. This looks like a particularly busy day for Menominee PD.
Let's hear it.
1000 block of 10th Avenue.
Right.
42-year-old female arrested, possession of methamphetamine.
Meth possession, okay.
Then officers assisted a motorist, locked out of their car, 3700 block of 10th Street.
Right, the variety of calls, not always crime-related.
Exactly. Then a 56-year-old female, cited for speeding, 20th Avenue and 13th Street, North Shore Drive and 41st Avenue. 60-year-old female arrested for trespassing.
Okay.
Another 60-year-old female arrested. This one at 15th Avenue and 11th Street. Charges. Open intoxicants in a vehicle and failing to use a turn signal.
Turn signal violation leads to the open container charge, probably.
Seems likely.
Yeah.
10th Street and 36th Avenue. 24-year-old male arrested, leaving the scene of a hit and run and OWI.
Hit and run plus OWI, that's a bad combo.
For sure. 4500 block at 12th Street.
Yes.
41-year-old female arrested for assault.
Okay.
And another 41-year-old female arrested.
Right.
This one on a misdemeanor warrant through Menominee PD location, 10th Street and 26th Avenue.
Busy day indeed. Lots of different types of calls and arrests.
Yeah, really ran the gamut. Wednesday, June 11th. A familiar call. Officers assisted another motorist locked out of their vehicle. 1400 block of 8th Avenue.
That happens more than you'd think.
Guess so. And finishing up Menominee City reports. Thursday, June 12th. 24-year-old female arrested. No operator's license. 10th Street and 23rd Avenue.
Okay.
And 23rd Avenue and 10th Street. 59-year-old male arrested. OWI, second offense, and no operator's license.
Second offense, OWI. That's a pattern we keep seeing, unfortunately. Persistent issue.
It really is.
So, yeah, comparing Menominee City to the Comanche County, definitely a higher density of incidents here in the city, right?
Just that way.
More multi-vehicle crashes at intersections, a wider range of arrests, property stuff, assaults, drugs, OWIs. It really reflects those typical city policing challenges. More people, more interaction, more traffic, just more situations needing intervention.
I definitely feel that increased pulse, like you said.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's hop over to our neighbor city, Marinette. Their police department incident reports covering June 8th through June 15th, 2025.
All right, Marinette PD.
Yeah, always interesting to compare the rhythms, even though they're so close geographically.
For sure. They share some common threads with Menominee, obviously, but you often see subtle differences, too, and sometimes, well, striking similarities that point to shared regional issues.
Okay, starting Sunday, June 8th. Traffic accident. 2300 Roosevelt Road. Vehicles involved operated by Stephen Charette and Charles Meal. No injuries, no citations reported.
Straightforward accident report.
Moving to Monday, June 9th, Thomas Smith and Robert Colazzo cited for possession of THC. Location, Marinette Avenue and Kearney Avenue.
THC, yeah, the active compound in cannabis. Seeing citations for that.
Another traffic accident, 2900 Roosevelt Road. Vehicles operated by Miranda Ott and Frederick Marino. No injuries here either, but Ott was cited for operating without insurance.
No insurance citation, okay.
And Nicholas J. Hatton taken into custody. Felony DOC warrant. Happened at 3120 Riverside Drive.
DOC warrant, Department of Corrections. Usually means a serious probation or parole violation. Indicates prior history.
Right. Tuesday, Juneteenth. Another traffic accident. County Road T and Cleveland Avenue. Vehicles driven by Jeffrey Bordelais and Tommy Fleissfresser. Again, no injuries, no citations.
A lot of minor accidents reported.
Seems like it. Wednesday, June 11th. This was a busy one for Marinette. Edward Cloutier taken into custody for a probation and parole violation. 3D540 Old Peshtigo Road.
Okay, probation violation.
Traffic accident, Marinette Avenue and Cleveland Avenue. Vehicles, Sarah Kirby and Tammy Peak. No injuries, but Kirby cited for following too closely.
Following too close, common cause.
Now this next one on Wednesday. This really stands out. Edward Bell taken into custody at 1813 Wisconsin Street. Charges: recklessly endangering safety, possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and maintaining a drug trafficking place.
Wow, okay, that's a significant list.
Yeah.
Reckless endangerment, meth, paraphernalia, and maintaining a drug trafficking place. That last one is serious.
Yeah, what does that imply exactly?
It implies more than just personal use. It suggests an ongoing operation, a location used specifically for drug activity. That's a much higher level offense and points to a bigger impact on public safety in that area. A major bust.
Definitely sounds like it. Also Wednesday, Todd Escanador cited for possession of THC, Marinette Avenue and Bank Street.
Okay.
Now, interestingly, Thursday, June 12th, the Marinette Police Department blotter shows no reports filed.
Huh, a quiet day.
Could be. On to Friday, June 13th. Vehicle operated by Graham Smith struck a curb. Marinette Avenue and Hall Avenue. No injuries, no citations.
Curb strike.
Austin Martin cited for disorderly conduct. 1303 Garfield Avenue. And Kathleen M. Olson taken into custody for OWI. 30120 Riverside Avenue.
Another OWI arrest.
Saturday, June 14th. Looks like it brought some serious incidents. Frank Shepard cited for disorderly conduct and possession of THC. It happened at City Park.
Okay, park incident.
Thomas J. Loomis taken into custody on a warrant. 1704 Shore Drive.
Warrant arrest.
And here's another one with multiple very concerning charges. Michelle L. Suter, taken into custody at University Drive and Shore Drive.
Okay, what are the charges?
OWI, first offense, possession of a facsimile firearm, going armed while intoxicated, underage alcohol consumption, disorderly conduct, and resisting sex acting.
Whoa, okay, that is a lot and very dangerous. OWI, underage drinking, disorderly, resisting, and the weapon aspect.
Yeah, facsimile firearm. What does that mean for officers?
It means it looks real. It's designed to look like a real gun, even if it isn't functional or fires projectiles. Officers have to treat it as a real threat until they can confirm otherwise. So combining that with being armed while intoxicated, incredibly risky situation for everyone. For the officers, for the public, for the person involved.
Extremely volatile mix.
Very.
And finally, for this Marinette section, Sunday, June 15th. Charges of disorderly conduct and battery were forwarded to the DA's office for Amanda Vretnar, related to a domestic disturbance at 101 West Hosmer Street.
Domestic disturbance referral, okay.
And one last traffic accident. Kearney Avenue and Marinette Avenue. Vehicles. Peyton DeBosch and Jared Kameen. No injuries, no citations.
So, wrapping up the city reports, both Menominee and Marinette. It's clear, isn't it? While the county showed us those rural-specific incidents, the cities really highlight the constant drumbeat of urban life challenges.
Yeah.
More traffic issues at intersections, definitely more OWIs popping up, and that ongoing struggle with drug offenses, plus things like warrants and domestic issues. The sheer density of calls seems higher, requires constant vigilance, maybe different policing priorities than the more spread-out county work.
Wow. Okay, that was quite a deep dive, wasn't it? Through the recent weeks on the blotter for Menominee and Marinette counties, all thanks to the Peshtigo Times.
It really was.
We saw, everything from routine traffic stops that suddenly uncovered much more serious crimes.
Right, like those weapon and drug charges.
To those dynamic vehicle pursuits out in the fields, dog bites, abandoned boats, and, the really persistent challenges of impaired driving and drug offenses across both city and county lines.
And if you try to connect all these dots, right, these reports, they might seem as just separate incidents. But together, they really reveal the constant, incredibly varied work our law enforcement folks are doing.
Yeah.
And they show the persistent challenges within our communities. It gives you a real sense of the dynamic environment our first responders have to navigate every single day, the mundane, the dangerous, and, everything in between.
So what does this all mean for you listening in? As you sort of reflect on these local incidents, maybe think about what these daily reports really tell us. The hidden challenges, maybe, or even the quiet resilience within our own neighborhoods. Does it make you notice things differently? Maybe you see small details in your own day, the sirens, the police cars, how they reflect this constant pulse of activity happening all around us.
It's a powerful reminder, I think. Every single call, every report, it tells a piece of the story of the fabric of our community, and the story of the people working hard to keep it safe.
Well said. That's all the time we have for this deep dive into Behind the Blotter with the Peshtigo Times.
Yeah, it went fast.
We hope you gained some, maybe surprising facts, and perhaps a newfound appreciation for the detailed, sometimes difficult, work that goes into keeping our region safe. Until next time, stay curious.